Hiya, I hope you're keeping well. Today I thought we could just generally have a bit of a chat about rosacea and how you can be more mindful of managing redness and rosacea in the winter months. Whether you've got something as specific as rosacea or whether you just notice things like redness or symptoms of sensitivity in your skin, when the weather gets colder, they can be really exacerbated and you might find that your skin is a bit more uncomfortable than usual. So there's really easy things that you can do to just make it that bit more comfortable and keep it as calm as possible. It is so freakishly bright today. I've tried to start this a few times and I keep kind of having to reposition. So if you'll be patient with me, we might be shuffling around, but that's okay. If anything, I can show you the texture of my skin in quite a lot of detail because I'm under the glaring sun. But I've got a bit of a different update to start us off with when it comes to rosacea. So a few months ago, I started looking into a feature about your gut health and the relationship between your gut and your skin. And for a number of reasons, I was generally looking into this kind of topic because I had shingles at Christmas and I found that after the shingles, I was picking up everything, and I'm not that kind of person, but I was getting every cough and cold, and like my immune system was clearly just completely depleted. So I'd started taking Symprove, which I love, and then just generally looking into this world a bit more. And to cut a long story short, for various reasons to do with other health things, I decided to see a lovely friend of mine, Maz, who has trained in nutrition. And again, this was all very specific to me and considering a number of different things. But basically, I've cut out gluten and dairy, and I've seen a huge difference in my skin. Because I did the two of them, I can't be sure which one exactly it was, but when I say a huge difference, I always use prescription strength azelaic acid to reduce the texture in my skin, because I've got two types of rosacea: type 1, which causes persistent flushing and redness, and type 2, which causes the raised bumps. And it's the raised bumps that I've noticed have been lesser without any other change than changing my diet. Now, that is something I want you to take with a pinch of salt. In the 6 years that I've been diagnosed with rosacea and talking about it online, one thing I've noticed is there are so many ridiculous mistruths. I can't tell you, in particular, if it's like a video that just pops up for someone. People will always say that you've been drinking or you've been eating the wrong thing, or there's always someone that's really quick to say that you're to blame and it's your fault and you've been doing this or that. And I don't subscribe to any of that. And also, I'm in a really fortunate position where I'm speaking to consultant dermatologists about rosacea all the time. This is why I like to make these videos. It's not just me harping on in my living room, even though it is. It's me telling you, listen, I have spoken to absolute experts in this field. They have given me this guidance, I've implemented it, and this is what's happened. No dermatologist has ever told me that someone has caused their own rosacea through things like that. So I don't want it to be like the narrative of this explanation is, oh, well, you caused your own rosacea by eating gluten and dairy. But the one thing I do want to say is that that was a lovely side effect of it, that I have noticed that the texture is calmer. Now, that said, that's had no impact on the flushing. So the flushing is just as prominent as always, and the texture isn't completely gone, it's just lesser, and I definitely noticed that there is an improvement in it. So that's my experience. If it's something that you're curious about, or like a lot of people I speak to will tell me that they've tried lots of different things, they've tried every product, they've tried every treatment. If you're looking for the next thing to potentially trial and error and see if it will do something, it might be worth, you know, seeing if there is an element of your diet that you could add to see if nurturing the gut health might make a difference to you. I'm very conscious that things like this require medical guidance and an overlook, so I want you to always take that as a pinch of salt and know that my experience will be different to yours, and that for you to get the right scenario for you, it's worth you having a one-to-one with someone. Because, for example, Maz spent hours asking me all of my medical history, and we had eliminated those things because of other digestive things that I was explaining to her. But there we go, that's the first chapter. The sun's gone in a bit so I can actually see you. Fantastic. Next, I thought I would just recap a few basics of if you're managing symptoms of redness, because I've noticed recently, I think because I haven't made a video in a little while, I've had some new people join me, which is lovely to have you. Thank you for being here and looking for maybe starting points and starting suggestions of what to do if you're noticing these symptoms. Now, again, I'd really emphasise that I'm not a doctor or a medical professional, but these are all things that have been shared with me by various consultant dermatologists over the years. What I would say is, if you are wanting to reduce any symptoms of redness in your skin, keep your routine as simple as possible. Using things like a really gentle cream cleanser twice a day, using an SPF every morning is essential, not only to protect your skin against the sun, but also the sun is one of the known triggers of rosacea. So sun exposure will make you more red, and slotting in that SPF is going to reduce the ability for your skin to present in more of a red pattern, or in a deeper skin that presents as more of a brown pattern. A great moisturiser, I would say ceramide based, so something buttery and rich, because you'll often find, not always, but you'll often find with redness and rosacea that the skin barrier is compromised and that you might have dryness as well as dehydration. And so having ceramides in there, which are really buttery, hydrating, and also designed to strengthen the skin barrier, will be brilliant. So if you've cleansed, moisturised and used your SPF, happy days. I'd keep it really simple at that. Start with that, see how you go. And the next thing I would say is, it's really important to remember, oh, what a relief, that's so much better. It's really important to remember that everyone's rosacea is different, and this is a medical thing. So if you can have a one-to-one, so someone can look at your skin and figure out exactly what's going on for you and give you the best recommendations for you, that is the most important thing. There are a number of ways I'd recommend to do this. The first one is the Boots Online Doctor. This is one of the best services. Basically, you go online, you fill out a big consultation, you send photos of your skin, you give them lots of information about yourself. From here, it's totally up to you. If you know that there is an ingredient or a prescription cream that you've heard about and you want to try, you can request the cream that you want to get. If you don't know, if you're new to your rosacea and you want some answers, you can pay, I believe it's £5, to ask a medical professional to look over your notes and recommend the right thing for you. And then basically you ask to buy a prescription cream, a medical professional will look over it, check that you're okay to be prescribed that, and then if they agree to your prescription, you only pay for it then. And the thing with rosacea is, because it is medical, it might be that that prescription step alongside your every routine is exactly what you need to manage it in the best possible way. Now, that's a service I have used for ages. I don't like to say my specific prescription just because everyone's different, and as much as I can hammer that home again and again and again, I know that there will always be someone that just says, well, what do you use? Wants to use that, and it might not necessarily be right for them. What I will say is that azelaic acid is an ingredient that I have always found is great for treating the bumps that I get with my rosacea. That's the same bumps that I was saying have lessened since I cut out the gluten and dairy. But azelaic acid, you can find it in a multitude of things on the high street. Things like the Inkey list do an azelaic serum. Beauty Pie have just brought out a new azelaic serum, or from 15% onwards you can get it on prescription, and I personally use a prescription strength azelaic acid. The other service that you could use that I thoroughly recommend, swear by, is Klira. I bought this to show you. Klira was founded by Dr. Emma Craythorne, again, consultant dermatologist. What she will do is, again, all an online consultation form. You are asked lots of specific questions about your skin, and you're made a formula that is a blend of whichever active ingredients you need to target all of the skin concerns that you're looking for. So for example, mine is a prescription strength azelaic acid, but I also have things in here like tretinoin, because I'm 34, I want to keep my skin looking as healthy and good as it can at any given point in my age and journey. And so the tretinoin is really helpful for things like I am starting to notice the first onset of some slight fine lines in the skin. Let me just remind myself. So in mine, for example, there is a compound of tretinoin, ivermectin and azelaic acid. Klira is the most fantastic treatment that I would really recommend. And again, that is so unbelievably tailored to you, because the entire formula is a cocktail of things that are right for you. So you've got two slightly different but great options there if you're looking for something that's really going to work and something that is very specifically going to work for you. Things to keep in mind this time of year. I find that my same dose of moisturiser or serum or whatever it is just not enough at this time of year. My skin has been so dry, I can't begin to tell you. So one of the things, for example, that I'm doing to try and help that is I would recommend at this time of year, I always say this, but especially this time of year, when you get home, get your makeup off as quickly as you can if you're wearing makeup. If you're not wearing makeup, cleanse your skin. You still need to remove dirt, grime, hopefully the SPF that you put on this morning. And then you might want to moisturise a couple of times in the evening. I have my moisturiser by the TV because I'll put it on. If I still feel my neck has been quite dry this week, I will just put on maybe a couple of times as the evening goes on. If my skin is drinking it, I'll keep giving it. And I often find that like I'll have a few days where my skin can't get enough. Then maybe the rest of that week, I'll be fine to just put my moisturiser on once and that'll be the end of that. And then I'll find again, it gets a bit more dry. These are all things that can be really helpful. Just being mindful of, you know, feeding your skin that bit of extra moisture. So routine wise, you've got your SPF, your gentle cleanser, your moisturiser. Another thing I would say is if your skin is actively very red and irritated, I wouldn't go near active ingredients. I'd just let that gently calm itself down when you're using things like your gentle routine and layering in the moisture. And then when everything calms down a bit, feel free to add those actives back in if you're using any actives. But I've also bought some of the skincare that I've been using recently because actually a lot of it is newer stuff that I probably haven't shown you before. Now, before I go into this, I do want to caveat and say specific recommendations is something I'm always asked. And two things. The first one is I wrote a feature for The Independent a few months ago, which is a comprehensive list of my favourite rosacea picks. If you just want a great routine, I'd have a look on there. Because I've covered lots of different things for different reasons. So for example, something that comes up a lot is, have you got a recommendation for vegan products for rosacea? I do. The thing is with that, if I'm really honest with you, a lot of the brands, especially like the pharmaceutical led brands that are really purpose designed to tailor for redness or rosacea, for them, the criteria is like the science led treating that rather than necessarily being vegan. So I wanted to give you this full comprehensive list to say, if you're looking for that, that and that, this is best for you. You do have your options if you're looking for that. It's like you're never going to find one thing that ticks every box for everyone, but by all means, there are loads of recommendations on that list. It's on the UK Independent website. If you just type in my name, it'll come up really easily. So do have a look on there. The other thing I would say, I'm not sure which platform you'll be watching this video on, but on YouTube, I have all of my rosacea videos in a playlist, and some of them are literally 6 years old, or, you know, years and years old. The rosacea recommendations always still stand. Like, if it's a very simple set of rules, really. In general, this isn't exclusive, but in general, you're looking at great, gentle, fragrance-free brands like the Roche, Posay, Aven, CeraVe, SkinCeuticals, Vichy. You're not going to go wrong with any of these. So if I've previously recommended something for you, please know that that still stands. But that in mind, I've added a few wild cards. I'm just going to shuffle down because my legs are actually kind of distracting me how numb they've gone. But now that the sun's gone in, I'm in a bit of a better position. So, moisturiser wise, I'm just going to start with some classics that I've been using a lot. The Vichy Mineral 89 Moisturiser is a rich buttery cream that you can use twice a day that has minimal ingredients in there. It's designed to strengthen the skin barrier, deeply hydrate the skin. That is one of my favourite products of all time. I've just finished that and opened another one. Just to be really upfront with you, I've worked with Vichy on ads for this moisturiser before, but they asked me to do them because as soon as I tried this, I've just always said it is one of the best things I've used. Another one that I mention all the time is the La Roche-Posay Toleriane Sensitive Cream or Sensitive Rich. They're all very similar. Or, you know how much I love that one. If you like that, you'll love this one. I took this last year as well to America with me, and on this particular trip, because it was a bit of work and play, I'd gone to New Jersey, which was so unbelievably windy and cold, New York, which was just generally a bit cold and rainy, LA, which was super sunny, and then Vegas, which was absolutely like I'm dry as a bone, drying out in the desert. It worked beautifully across all of those because it's rich enough to quench your skin, but not so rich that it's annoying under your makeup. So absolutely love that. Now another one that I think is fantastic is the CeraVe Facial Moisturising Lotion. This comes with or without an SPF. Now I just happen to be using the SPF one in this video because I'm sat where I usually film and I'm in natural light, so I always have SPF here. But to be honest with you, I tend to buy this in the non-SPF version so that I can use it twice a day. This is very buttery, rich, instantly comforting for the skin. It's my favourite affordable pick for rosacea. And one thing I would say is on the 8th and 9th of October, I want to say it's Prime Day, and last Prime Day there was loads of CeraVe in there. If you want something affordable, get yourself a CeraVe routine in Prime Day. Love that moisturiser. Now then, the other one that I've been using, and this has been my by the television one, is the Ceramidin Ectoin Infused Cream from Dr. Jart. Dr. Jart is one of the best brands for, I love their kind of rich, nourishing skincare. You've probably seen me talk about the Cicapair colour correcting treatment a lot, which sits in the Cicapair family with the tiger grass. Now, interestingly, obviously that treatment is designed to colour correct redness, and that whole range is full of products designed to really soothe sensitivity. But in my opinion, for this time of year for redness, I would actually say you're better off using the Ceramidin because it's so buttery and rich and packed with the ceramides. The power of the ceramides to strengthen your skin barrier will have a great knock-on effect, I would argue, at this time of year in helping to manage your redness. This is a really rich buttery cream. One of the things I really like about this is it instantly comforts everything, but it leaves quite a balmy finish on the skin, so you really feel like you have completely locked in that moisture. Ceramidin comes in a number of different forms, so you might have seen like the squeezy tube of this that I've used a lot. This is the thickest, richest one that I've used, and I absolutely love it. Now I've progressed into full pins and needles. Love that for me. So I'm just gonna have another little shuffle. Now, the next one is a bit of an investment, and something that comes up so often when I speak to people about redness and rosacea is that you might have tried a million different things and spent so much money until you found the right thing for you. And I just want to really explain that I am so mindful of recommending things that cost a lot of money, because I think when you have something like that you're trying to solve, you've probably already invested loads, and I wouldn't be recommending something that is at an investment price point if I didn't really believe in it. But this is more of an investment piece, the SkinCeuticals Epidermal Repair. This is one of the best things I would recommend if you are currently in like a state of flux with your skin. So epidermal repair, it's described here as a therapeutic treatment for compromised skin, and it says on the back that it was essentially created initially for use following dermatological procedures, so things like microdermabrasion, chemical peels, laser and IPL. Essentially, the purpose of this is to rapidly accelerate the process of your skin healing. And I would say, here we go, rapid restoration of its barrier function. This, every now and again, in a little thin layer on any areas that are really sensitive or feeling a bit raw to the touch, is fantastic. This isn't something that I use day in, day out every day, but recently I had some dry skin that was actually peeling, and I put this in a thin layer. I am not joking you, one night's sleep and the next day it felt significantly different and more comfortable, and I only used it that one night. So it really is something that if you're in a tight corner will make a difference. I really like that, and it's something that I always have in, even though I don't need to turn to it that much. Speaking of SkinCeuticals, another thing that I've reintroduced to my routine that again is a complete investment, and I'll be honest with you, I'm so lucky that I'm in a position to try these things because people send me new products to try for my job. The Hyaluronic Acid Intensifier from SkinCeuticals is a cocktail of various types of hyaluronic acid. I have temporarily slotted this back into my routine just because my skin had been feeling particularly dry, and it is a fantastic serum that I would really recommend, and I love it. However, there are brilliant hyaluronic acid serums that do not have the same price tag. The Inkey list, again, do a fantastic hyaluronic acid serum. Vichy do the most fantastic hyaluronic acid serum that if I was to recommend probably one serum for you, it would be the Vichy one. By all means, if you can stretch to the SkinCeuticals one and you want to, I really think it's great, but you don't have to get the same results. And again, CeraVe have a hyaluronic acid serum. It might be another one to keep an eye out for during Prime Day. But what I would say with hyaluronics is I don't always use them day in, day out all the time. But this time of year, I'm locking in every extra bit of moisture that I possibly can, because it's, you know, the weather's so cold and it's had an impact on my skin. Just quickly, I will touch on what I've been cleansing with has tended to be the Elemis Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm. Just being really honest with you, if you are to be super strict with your rosacea rules, it is always preferable to use a cream cleanser. One of my favourites is the Roche Posay Toleriane Dermocleanser, a fantastic cleanser. I also really love the Hirons Skin Rocks cleanser. One of the differences I would say with Skin Rocks versus the Toleriane Dermocleanse is Toleriane Dermocleanse is like a creamy gel and it will get all of your makeup off quickly. Caroline's Skin Rocks cleanser, it's that tiny bit more buttery and slippy. If you've got a lot of makeup on like I have today, I just find that it is that bit richer, that it will get everything off a little bit more quickly. So I really like that. But I've been using my Pro Collagen Cleansing Balm personally. The naked version, which is fragrance free, is great for me. I also really love the fig one. I've not long finished that. The rose version I love, but I think because it's one of those steps that you are removing as quickly as you put it on because you're rinsing off the balm, it's really great to give you that slip to get everything off quickly. And I think that sometimes the benefit of using a balm or an oil is that you're not having to scrub an already red skin and exacerbate it even more. So I've been using that, I love it. Another thing that I've got by the TV are mists. One of them again is from Elemis. It's the Superfood Multi Mist. This is a really gentle, soft, cocooning mist. The nozzle is quite large. It's not like it will disrupt your makeup. You can use that easily over your makeup or on its own. I love it. Or the other one, and I love the smell of this one, is the Ella & Joe 3-in-1 Hyaluronic Skin Mist, which is essentially a hyaluronic acid in a mist form, but this is the, here we go, the orange blossom scent. They have this in like a plain version and the orange blossom, but it's just so lovely and cooling. And because the unit is steel, I think it's steel, it's metal anyway, it comes out really, really cold, and I love that one. I've got something else I want to show you from Ella & Joe, and just quickly I want to talk about Ella & Joe in a bit more detail. So back in, I want to say it was June, I'd gone on a trip with Ella & Joe, and I really love the founders, Neve and Charlene. They're a female-owned Irish beauty brand, and essentially I knew of them and I knew all about them, and because my family are all Irish and I follow so many Irish creators on here, I knew all about Ella & Joe, but I hadn't like had the time with the girls, and so I thought it would be a lovely opportunity to get to know them and learn about the products. So this was back in June, and so I had kind of a real immersion into everything, but I am always really, really conscious, especially with rosacea and redness recommendations. I won't really speak on something until I've given it a really long, thorough chance to try. Now, with Ella & Joe, a lot of their ethos is that it's designed for busy people. So they've woven lots of active ingredients into each step, and they want it to be like a really multitasking brand that each one step is delivering loads of benefits. And essentially what I'm getting at here is they haven't specifically made this brand with redness or sensitivity in mind. And for me, I'm sorry, I'm such a nosy neighbour. I thought that was my friend, but it isn't because I saw the dog. For me, I tend to get a lot of my skincare from places that really are targeted towards treating redness. Now, some of the lines from Ella & Joe, if you see them on paper, they don't look like they're going to be perfectly tailored to redness. And this one, I'm going to tell you, you're going to be like, are you joking? But please be assured, I'm saying that from June, and we're now in October, I've tried these often in that time, given them a thorough road test, and I can vouch for them. The one that has surprised me that I really like is the Nourish and Glow Superfood Oil. Now, how many times have I told you? I have said a million times, it's best to avoid oils if you have rosacea. Every single consultant dermatologist has said this to me. They advise you to avoid oils. They advise you to avoid active ingredients if you are in a flare-up. However, this particular oil, which has actives in it and is, you know, everything that maybe you shouldn't be using in theory, my skin, there's been points where it's been so dry that hyaluronic acid isn't going to cut it and a moisturiser isn't going to cut it. I've just needed every once in a while to slot an oil in to just replenish the moisture again, and I absolutely love this. I also gave a lot of Ella & Joe things to my sister who does facial massage, and she loves that oil as well. To be really clear, I am not recommending that you use this all day, every day as part of your routine. No one has ever advised me to do that in terms of treating rosacea. However, if you're like me and you find that at some points the dryness is like, I really need something here, every now and again at night, a little dose of oil might restore the balance for you again. Really love that. This has nothing to do with rosacea, but it has come to be just one of my favourite steps that I am not without. The It Cosmetics Confidence in an Eye Cream. I never used to be that fussed about eye cream as a category, and more often than not, I would just take my moisturiser around the eyes. This is the most sumptuous, buttery, you can see how I'm doing with that cream, that is so comforting if you're not wearing any makeup. If you are wearing makeup, it's the most beautiful base for under your makeup. And I find that in here gets really dry on me and it looks almost scaly. This is the most beautiful, rich treatment that is all the best of hydrating the area without seeping in or making your eyes water or making it too slippy to have your makeup on top of. I have this like so often. If I'm getting the train, I'll just do my makeup on the train, and I have that even if I've got like a tiny little bag for doing a quick makeup on the way. I will never be without that eye cream. I love it. And then the other one that isn't really rosacea specific, but I thought I'd include it because if you have sensitive skin and any like sensitive skin on your body, you might love this. This was a recommendation from my friend Sally. It's the Ren Evercalm Barrier Support Body Balm. Now again, this is one of those things that is quite an investment, and it isn't an amount of money that I would usually spend on a body product. I'm quite lazy with body products as well. I only use them if I'm forced to. And to be honest, I've been so dry, even all around here and down my neck, I've been forced to. But basically, I always scoop it out with like the end of an eyeliner or something, so you can see how much of it I've used. This balm, me and my mom love it. Every few weeks I'll do both of our toes. So we'll do our toes, paint them, and then I'll give us both this on our legs as a little treat. It is unbelievable. And like my mom in particular would have a bit of dryness sometimes on her legs or near her feet. And in one night you see a really instant difference. It's so rich and buttery. It is just absolutely sumptuous and I love it. And speaking of body, just while I think of it, I always tan, as you know, and I use lots of different tans. I have been using the Gatineau Gradual Tan. I had a bottle of it that I think I'd got from QVC a while ago. Absolutely unbelievable. It's the best tan for, you have all the ease of a gradual that isn't gonna go streaky, you can't really get it wrong, but you still feel like you've got a bit of colour the next day. I love it. But maybe if a tan video is of interest, I'll do a separate one, because I know we're kind of veering off rosacea at this point. But if you are struggling with your skin, the top thing I would say is see someone one-on-one, whether that's the Boots online doctor, whether it's Klira, whether it's your GP. Go and have a one-on-one consultation, because everyone's skin is different and there will be factors at play for you that aren't at play for another person, that when you manage them might make a big difference. Keep an eye out for Prime Day. If you want an affordable routine that is simple and going to do the job, that could be the perfect place to do it. Have a look at that independent article that has lots of different information about various different recommendations, why I chose them. Do have a look on my YouTube page for a proper rosacea playlist, and please feel free to leave any comments underneath here, any questions, and I'll get back to you if there's anything I know that I can steer you in the right direction of. Another thing I would say is make sure on social media you're following dermatologists. There are the most amazing dermatologists on social media now that are really generous with their time and knowledge. And, you know, as much as I'm so grateful that you've sat and watched my video and I love sharing, at the end of the day, you're never going to hear it better from anyone other than a consultant dermatologist. And we are so lucky now to have so many of them on here. Do utilise them and get all of their information. But listen, if you're struggling with your skin, I really hear you. Mine in the last week, I would say, has been so persistently red. I had a real a rawness all around here that really came up, and it is like a bit of a journey. I know that word is always used, but you can think you have everything under control and then it can just flare up again. It's just one of those things. We all get it, but you'll find what works and those moments will pass and you'll have calmer skin again. But listen, take care. Let me know if you've got any questions. I really hope that was helpful, and I'll chat to you soon. Take care.